Mm. I said I was going to do a video on dyslexia. I've had a few too many beers, so maybe it'll come out all wrong. But I didn't know I had dyslexia. Well, the way I see things is when I was a child, dyslexia wasn't a word, a description of what I was. Basically, I was classed as being sick or a person with learning disabilities. I'll give you a situation. I was in a normal school, and I can remember having IQ tests and like colourblind tests and things like that. And for some reason, I couldn't read, but I couldn't write like the other children. But the IQ tests I could do because I was asked certain questions and I answered them. Anyway, after these tests, I was asked by one particular teacher, she said to us, "You seem to understand the questions, but you can't read them." And how I answered that was that, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I find great difficulty reading the words. And I was 8 years of age or 9 years of age. And what frustrated me was that I could not actually understand everything what everybody was asking us to. And they were saying to us all the time was like, oh, well, you're just being lazy, or you know, whatever, you're lazy. And at that time I thought to myself, well, I wasn't lazy, and it was hurting my head when I was trying to read these words or letters, or how to put letters to make words. But I understood what everybody was saying. In fact, I understood more than the average person, because the average person didn't understand what was really going on when teachers talked to them. They had to be, how can I say it? I was in a learning difficulty classroom, and the children in a normal school and learning difficulty classroom couldn't grasp things, but I could grasp everything the teacher was saying to us, but I couldn't write it down, or I didn't want to write it down because it hurt my head. And the reason why it hurt my head is because my brain seemed to be overworking to understand what they were trying to say to me, to put this letter here and the end letter to make a sound, to make a word. To me, the letters were all wrong. And this is what I've learned later on in life, that the letter or letters and words are irrelevant. No, I'll rephrase that. The letters are irrelevant. the word spoken, if you understand naturally, you don't need to read. I believe what you read, what I've learned is that it's all lies anyway. The common language in England or Britain, well, I wouldn't say Britain, I would say England, is totally alien to me. The English words, letters, are to make a word are totally alien to me. They just do not make any sense. It really hurts my head to a point where, you know, to a point I have migraines. And when somebody tried to describe dyslexia, and this is where I don't believe the educated person to say, oh well, dyslexia means that the letters bounce off the page and it all goes mumble jumble. Well, no. To us dyslexics is that for some reason we can read words because we've trained ourselves. We speed read, we jump from, we can't like read a line of words. We pick a word out because we're intelligent enough to understand that we have to get by, we have to understand that we have to survive. So all this mumble jumble about words and letters lifting off the page, no, they don't. All it means is that your head's hurting that much, your eyes are straining, you got tears in your eyes because, you know, and then you have psychological problems because everybody's trying to. It's a very, very hard thing to explain, and all these people who are trying to say to you, well, it's this or it's that, well, it's not. It's because the English lettering doesn't apply to a dyslexic. A dyslexic, as far as I'm concerned, has learning difficulties in this society, but doesn't mean to say doesn't understand the spoken word. And the spoken word, well, I had the worst, apparently the worst type of dyslexia because I had problems trying to understand the spoken word because of the way I was programmed, you know. It's really hard to explain. I think I may delete this and start again. This is not, this is me pissed, so I can't explain it, but I will post it.